All right, welcome to RezoBiz. This is the Pecky Cypress episode. I have no idea what episode it is. It's this one. And we're going to work on more epoxy stuff this week. I've got a little helper in the shop. Hope you'll enjoy it. Let's get to it. Hi, I'm Burl with Burl Guitars, and this is RezoBiz, where everything is greater with a resonator. Okay, here's the back again in rough form, but and we're gonna put a back strap on it. This is that piece of Pecky Cypress that we put the epoxy in, and I'm putting on some purfling here, so we'll have a nice strip. Now we're looking like something. So it still looks kind of questionable because it's got super glue and epoxy still on it, but once it's sanded and leveled in, it's gonna be it's gonna flow because it'll have, and we'll do an engraft with it reminds it, a lot of epoxy work. All right, now I gotta figure out how to get these things situated here. Okay, so I've got it set up so that we can run a channel down the center, and then we'll put in our inlay piece. So I'm going to cut this. Wood, for whatever reason, is unruly just about. And what I mean by that is it just wants to warp. It just has a craziness to it. But it's going to get this inlay through here, and then it gets the back strap across the back, and then there's braces that go this way, then it's glued to the rim. So all that will be braced out of it, but it's a pain in the neck. It's just a little thin. So it's kind of popping loose. That's all right because I got it pinned down. It can't move. And once we'll put a piece down in the center. This piece glued in. I'll put a brace right over the top with some wax paper. Glue that down flat. Hassle. It's crazy. Once it lost its strength in the middle from being glued together, because I routed it, it went whoop. You'd say, oh, it's got a crack in it. Some people won't even glue them together. They'll fit the pieces together and butt glue them. But I like to leave a little bit of wood left, and so it's a lapping joint. Anyhow, in fact, that's the reason for a lot of back straps, is for people who put a channel on it. It just strengthens it. Plus, you put the strip across the back on the inside, and you've got a lot of layers holding that back together. Alright, so I got wax paper on the bottom side of it so this doesn't stick to the top. I run the super glue down through it, wax paper to top, and then kind of screwed this down like a clamp. So it's holding that for right now. Let that dry, and then we'll flip it over and we're going to put the center brace on for the inside of the back, and that'll kind of sandwich all this so this was glued together, then we routed a channel, and it was fairly thin, and we put that strip down the middle. So now there'll be multiple layers holding this back together, and then yeah, we'll get it all ready to go on the back. So I've decided on this piece here. We're just going to pour the epoxy. I want to get this thing shaped as far as a neck, and then I'll fill the holes with epoxy afterwards. I believe that's what I'm going to do. Actually, I might do both now that I think about it. But what I'm going to do now is get this finish off. So I'm going to run it through planer, actually not a planer, drum sander, and then get it smooth, and then we'll put the other side of the neck on. And ta-da! There it is. It's interesting how dark this stuff goes when it gets the finish on it. It's a lot of neat color in that grain, but it just goes so dark. It surprises me. Alright, so next is to get this out of the way, and then we'll get this other side of maple glued on this neck. Then it can be cut out to shape. Alright, I just glued this back strap on our back. So on the underneath side is the, well, you call it a back strap too, I think. I don't know. It's that decorative piece we just glued in. So this is the opposite side, the inside of the guitar, center back strap, back brace. Maybe that's a better name for it. That runs the inside, and we'll have cross braces that go this way. There, that's gluing. Now we can get to our neck. This is what we're after, to get something relatively in this area for the neck. And I'm just making some marks to show where I was thinking it would look good. Now, I'm just going to glue, and the reason, you say, well, I don't look like the grain goes, or the flame goes all the way. It's not about this side. Everything we do is about this side. And so, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the marks that we see in here is what we're after. And the same thing with this. It's the wood on the inside, or the center, this face, that we're wanting to see. I was thinking of filling this before. Somebody might be like, why are you leaving that open or hollow? 2 reasons. I'm going to use a different epoxy too. I'm going to use one that dries a bit faster. But I think I'm still considering things, thinking on things. But the other thing is there's a lot of waste in epoxy by filling all this, and it seems to be easier to get it shaped, and I could put something across the back side to close off the holes, and then I can tilt it up and just pour it in. It seems much simpler that way, and all this, once we cut it, it'll be more exposed. Easier to get to, and there'll be holes, I believe, that we can't see even now that we'll be able to get to. So I think pouring it in, gluing it together, flipping it up, pouring it in the end grain would be the easiest way to do it. That's what I think, but I don't know. I've never done it before. This is definitely a first, and I enjoy it for that reason. At times I would generally use more clamps, but because of the way this thing hangs out so far, I've got a lot of kind of like pry bar ability, and I'm not squishing two pieces of wood down. We've already glued that other side. But I'm getting everywhere. I'm getting good squeeze out everywhere, so yeah. All right, there's a neck sandwich. So we need this part cut off and use straight lines, so I'm just gonna do a new tactic. It's a way of cutting that you gotta be extremely strong, which I am. So I'm just gonna shear it. I'm just gonna, you know, there. Yeah, it's a Superman thing. All right, so this will be the part the fretboard goes on. Probably like, yeah. And then earlier I made those marks on it. Tell me where I kind of wanted to be. And that should be pretty close to what I want right there. So what I'm hoping for is when we cut this, we'll have the bigger parts of the holes that were in that board. All right, let's go to the bandsaw. All right, so we have holes to fill, and they run all the way through. That one's all the way through. That one's all the way through. That one's all the way through. This one is not. I'll have to fill it separately. Looks like. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, we got a little bit of holes everywhere. I'm pretty tickled with that. So what I'm going to do though is put this across top like this, and then I'm probably going to put a piece of wood on the top of here, like something like this, and then clamp it so that if the tape is loosened a little bit, it won't. And I'm going to use a faster set epoxy because the other takes just too long. I haven't got that kind of patience. All right, let's mix some epoxy. All right. These holes are bigger than I thought they were. You might be thinking, why aren't you just pouring it in there? Well, it is thick. It's not as runny as the slower stuff. But the other stuff takes about 2 days to dry. And it sits so wet for so long, it can work on the glue. I mean, I'll use it if I need to, but it didn't seem like it was the best idea for this. So I'm not. It's gonna be tricky. I need Coco. Tear me off some tape here, please.
What?
Tear me off some tape, please.
Is this good, Dad?
Yeah, tear that off for me.
I'll try.
Starting to harden already. That's good. 'Cause I do not want to wait on it any longer than necessary. Nice thing about it hardening already is it'll quit flowing now. I know it's nice when you're trying to get the marble look and all that stuff, but again, you're dealing with the top, and we can play with what it looks like on top all we want, but that's not what we're going to end up with when it's said and done, because this is roughed in and I got to sand it down farther. So I'm not worrying about it. Yeah. Where'd it go? There. All right. Let's let that mess dry for a little bit. The nice thing is, this whole thing will be cleaned up. Ta-da! All right. Well, thank you, little helper.
Bye-bye. Oh, good job.
Well, it looks a little messy, and this looks like it's black, but it's interesting. I mean, I'm kind of glad to show you two things that I'll comment about this right now. Is number one, that looks like a piece of ebony in there, and it will not look like that when we're done. Second of all, see the lines this way? This back has a lot of figure in it, and it is going to pop when we're done. And yeah, I've got interesting ideas for top and back of this instrument. I'm really thrilled because the customer has let me do kind of what I want, and the ideas are rolling. So this is going to be really pretty, but that you will see is not just a black piece of, I mean, you know it, you see me do it, but it's not going to look like that. It's going to be neat. Okay. So this is the sloppiest mess of a neck that I've ever had before. Could be because epoxy is not something I do all. So anyhow, we will keep pressing forward. All right, I hope you enjoyed this week's video on the Pachycypress, and hope to see you next week. I try to get the videos out on Saturday nights. It just depends on what my life's doing. I'll hopefully have one out next week. We'll see how it goes. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, would you? And subscribe if you have not. Thank you for watching. Oh, and Roger, no, I don't know your candy bar.
Bye-bye. Oh, good job.